and welcome to the Albion Obsessed podcast. You join us on the back of a 1-1 draw with Manchester City. If you can cast your mind back to midweek, hopefully not too much has happened since then. And we will be covering a lot of stuff today because, again, I'm having to dust the microphone once more this season. Another impromptu break. We are very sorry about that. But just like the Albion Obsessed do not turn up in December. Let's see who we've got on the show today. We are welcomed by Andrew. Andrew, mate, how are you?
Yes, I'm very well, Joe. Very well indeed. Great to be back, and let's see how the conversation flows.
Exactly that. It's been an action-packed FA Cup day today. Ian, how are you feeling, mate, after seeing the holders not quite defend their title?
Yes, well, it was quite nice. We'll put it that way. I probably, as I like to a little bit, wind some of my Palace friends up. So as soon as that final whistle went, I messaged my friend and said, "Yeah, that's a good title defense, isn't it? Losing to a 117 place different side. I mean, it's one thing losing to like a Grimsby in the FA Cup or something, but to lose to, no disrespect, they were the better team, but Macclesfield should not and ever be beating a Palace side, especially when there is players like Gahey in from the very start."
Exactly that. So yeah, what more can you say other than what Ian said? Crystal Palace. Let's hope we don't lose tomorrow, and we can rub it in even more. But I know that they'll come back with what a trophy for Brighton. Maybe this year is the year. Who knows? As I said, we've got a lot to talk about. We've had roughly a month off of podcasting due to various reasons. But we're going to cover a couple of bits that aren't quite football related, but it will lead on to something that is Brighton Hove Albion related. And so on the 23rd, 22nd of December, I can't remember when, I decided to walk from Brighton Pier to Lancing to raise money for grassroots suicide prevention, which is a cause close to my heart and close to Mental Health United, and we've always raised money for them in the past as well. Felt it was something important to do around the Christmas time, to raise that awareness, because I think the stigma is still there, unfortunately. So I felt like I needed to get out there and do that. So just a big thank you to anybody who has shared that, who has donated. I was blown away by the support. I believe Buzz, the kit man, donated. I know Joel Veltman was involved as well. So, just an incredible thing. But Ian, it led on to a conversation between me and you about what could we possibly do around the 125-year anniversary. So do you want to tell the people what we've got planned?
Yeah, so as you just touched upon, I sort of saw you doing that mental health walk, and I thought that's a very inspiring thing to do. And as you say, the sort of stigma is still there, so it was a really a beautiful thing to do. And then something just popped into my head and messaged you and said, why don't we try and walk from like the Amex to their training ground or something to try and celebrate the 125-year anniversary, but instead of raising money for something else, let's try and raise money for the foundation, which we know is a big part to the club, and there's a big love for theirs. I think they touched on it at the West Ham or Sunderland game in December, don't quote me, but they touched upon it then and sort of just said like it's a fantastic charity. And so I thought we'd sort of put them together and thought, why don't we try do that and bring on some more fans? So hopefully if we get 125 and raise £125 each, spot a theme there, then we could do bits. And as I say, if it's successful, it'll be £15.6 thousand if every 125 people can do the £125, which would be crazy for the foundation. So fingers crossed.
Yeah, exactly. Fingers crossed. And I have reached out to the football club, and they have forwarded my email to the right place. And I received an email to say that they are going to discuss what they can do to support us. Of course, it's going to be a huge event, and I know that the club are putting on their own events as well around that anniversary. But as you say, and just to help the foundation in that way, and £125 each, I think is achievable. And as you said to me in the group chat, all it needs is for people to share it around their work, and I think we could get up to that figure. So I know you've signed up for it as well, Andrew. So it's going to be hopefully a really big event that we can get the community behind, and just do something nice to celebrate our wonderful football club.
Absolutely. It's very, very important that we get behind this foundation, because people don't understand what they do, and they do an awful lot for the local communities, and they help people in a lot of ways, and we just need to try and support them in the best way possible. So we'll get behind them, and we'll give them a small donation through the get together, and make it try and make it as nice as possible.
Exactly that. Let's have a look and see who's in the live chat today. We've got Phil. Hello to you, my friend. Rob laughing at the fact that Crystal Palace couldn't quite defend their title. So very, very good contribution from you there, Rob. And Doom saying, good to see you guys again. Too bad Dagan isn't here. Well, your dreams might come true soon, Doom, because Dagan is on his way, hopefully. And will be joining us in the next sort of 10 minutes. And he's saying Diego Gomez and Yari had a stinker, but Ferdy and Bart have been world class recently. Pascal Gross has also breathed life into this team, which we will all get into when we come to talk about Man City. I'm so excited to talk about Pascal Gross. I think it's the best thing that could have possibly ever happened in life ever. So let's not get too carried away. I mean, as I said, we haven't podcast since the West Ham game at home, and since then, Ian, it's been a bit of a slog in December. You blamed Fabian Hertzler before we came on stream, but yeah, I mean, what have you made of the December? I think it was up till now we've only got 6 points from our available 18, so it's been a bit of a hard slog, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's always difficult that with December there's a lot of fixtures, and your fixture lineup. Well, your lineups may change from fixture to fixture, and there's injuries and little niggles, and players may not play the full 90 and all that. So there's a lot to counteract. But at the same time, if this was 2 years ago, maybe we could say that our squad depth isn't there. But I think now we can say we definitely have the depth. So I wouldn't really say that there's an excuse for that in that sense. But there's been times where we've been able to put a 15, 20-minute passage of play together and really show the potential of the squad. But then there's times where we just, a bit like the West Ham game, we just don't do anything until almost like we go behind, and it's like hang on a second, we need to actually remember this isn't a training session, and it's an actual football match that there's points to play for. So all we can say is it's gone. At least we didn't lose every single one. There was a clean sheet in there as well against a very tough Sunderland side. So that there was some small positives, but a lot of negatives. Yeah,
exactly that, Andrew. As I said, it's been a hard month, hasn't it? But Dagan, when he's here, would tell us that this Premier League, especially this season, is possibly the toughest it's ever been. You just need to look at that sort of middle pack, don't you, to realise just how tight it is. I mean, if we win and the results go our way next week, we could see ourselves up to 6th. So it really is that a point or 3 points could just make all the difference in this like really congested period. What have you made of it so far?
I don't think we need to panic too much. I think at the moment, well, the results haven't gone our way, but we've had good, we've had bad, and we have to pick out the positives within that bunch of matches that we've played. We've played well in spells. You know, West Ham is a good example. So, for instance, you allow them to go 1-0 up, and then you're fighting the cause to come back into the game, and it's just kind of and we looked so good for the first, I would say, 20 minutes of that game, and then they go and kind of break the back line because we're too high up, and I think we just have to. We're in a good. I think to be honest, we're in a good place. We're not at the bottom of the table, and we're not fighting relegation. We're kind of mid-table, kind of going upwards, and we've just got to be. If the second half of the season can be good if we can get some decent results out the second part of the season, and we've got the squad. I don't think the squad is the problem. I think it's just our general play that we let ourselves down with. And we're either really good in the first 20 minutes or we're really, really good in the last half hour of the 90. And and then we just, it's almost like we just turn up the volume a notch and go for it, especially when we're slightly behind. So
it's just all about finding that consistency, isn't it? And
absolutely.
applying that across 90 minutes. And here's Dagan to tell us how simple that is to apply a full 90-minute performance. Dagan, what a lovely shirt you're wearing.
Like that? Well, hold on. Can you see?
There you go. For the audio listeners, he is rocking Spanish Dave on the back of a 2013-14 away shirt. So that is, Dagan, how much did you pick that for again? 20 odd?
$26 American.
Incredible stuff.
It is incredible stuff.
How are you? Are you good?
Quite well. It's a happy new year indeed. How's everyone else? That's the intros.
Yeah, no, we're good, mate. We've covered the charity walk that me and Ian are planning. We have covered the fact that we didn't turn up in December, much like the Albion. We went on a protest because we couldn't quite win, and now we're sort of going over just how tough this Premier League season is, Dagan, because you've said it so many times in the chat. There's no easy games, and obviously the results over December, highlight that, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, there are no easy games whatsoever for anyone. Certainly, City made one look easy today in the cup, but Palace did not. not Premier League opponents, but across the English Football League, the magic of the cup. No, in all seriousness, when we beat Leeds 3-0, there was it's just Leeds. Since then, Leeds went on a run, I think 6 or 7 unbeaten before, losing recently. They're really tough. Burnley is not an easy team to beat. We got that win and said, oh, well, I was just Burnley. And then the next match out, they draw to United. That's the Premier League in a nutshell. Week in, week out, it's really, really tough. Every point you get matters this season. And any 3 you can eke out really, really matters. You're seeing teams stay afloat and stay in the same position anytime they get a point. Sometimes moving up the table, getting a point, which is sort of unconscionable. But it's there are a lot of draws to be had if you can find wins. And these next 4 are going to be really, really critical because we're playing teams in and around us in the matches after the cup. Starting out with Bournemouth, who hopefully, despite this match being quite a ways in the future, I think we play them on Monday week. They had a doozy today. But no, I've been saying it all year since the start of the year, and it's continued to ring true.
Yeah, exactly that. I can't not talk about it any longer, Ian. Let's talk about the return of the man, Pascal Gross. The news came out on New Year's Eve. Fabrizio tweeted, "Here we go, Pascal Gross back to Brighton." It couldn't have been better timed, could it?
No, I mean, talk about a shock. You know, I mean, you're just sitting there and just sitting on your phone, regretting how much pigs and blankets you've eaten over the last week. To then Fabrizio says, "Here we go," and he's on his way back, and you're like, "Is this real?" You know, it's like, am I being pranked? Has someone got cameras up in my house or something? But it's such a welcome return. I mean, he understands the club. I know like Fabian and stuff go on about like the DNA and the culture of the club and stuff like that. But he is, if you wanted a player that's not homegrown, so to speak, like a Donkey or a Jack, he is basically as close as you can get to that. He lives, breathes Brighton. And with him having that little bit of experience in the Champions League as well, now that when he left and he came back, that's even better for us because he's been at higher levels in terms of expect what's needed and expected. So to come down now when we're in this sort of rut, it really has helped with confidence. And I think Georgie said it straight after the Burnley game. Is like he's got so much aura, and it's like he does. He really does. It's him. It's Pascal Gross. If he says you move, you move. You know what I mean? So yeah, absolutely buzzing to see him back.
And Andrew, his return against Burnley at home, it was evident, wasn't it, just how much authority that guy holds on a football pitch. As soon as he came on, he was barking at people, he was holding the line, he was telling people to get up and press, and he was the leading guy. Everyone always goes on about his pace and, he's lost even more of it. But it's all speed in the mind, isn't it, Andrew? And he just proves that it's not all about what's in the legs.
This man, this player is just, he's come back to this wonderful club that he left. And I remember hearing him say wherever it was, in a statement that he made, to say that he would never go to any other Premier League club. And he made that promise, and he hasn't, and he didn't, and he's come back, and it's almost as if he's, a light switch has been turned on around the club, because he's come back, and he's been so welcomed back, and that he's, nobody was really predicting whether he would play a part against Burnley, but seeing him on the bench, seeing him arrive with his tracksuit on and his boots in his bag and ready to go, and then seeing that he's on the bench, and then Fabian giving him that 20 minutes, half an hour in the game towards the end, and for everybody to welcome him back in the way they've done it, it's like a new era has been born in this club again, and it's so great to see him. And this team will be, I reckon he will put the spark in this team that this team really needs, and he will be a force to be reckoned with on that pitch, because he does guide everybody, and he knows where he wants players to be, and it's just brilliant.
Well, rumour has it is he saw that we drew Man United in the FA Cup, and he thought, I'm going to go back and own them again. And then he's going to go back to Dortmund after tomorrow's game. No,
a short-term deal in non-league.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It was, as you say, Andrew, it was such a magical return on whenever we played Burnley. I can't remember when, about a week ago. And
3rd of Jan.
Was it? Gosh, time feels like it's standing still right now. I can't lie. The roar when he came onto the pitch, the roar when he touched the ball, the boos that went around when he wasn't given the free kick on the edge of the area. It's so clear to see what one man can do to this football club in lifting those spirits and having that perfect return. Dagan, what did you make of Pascal's return? I know you was slightly concerned about having another aging midfielder come in, but you can't deny what he does for this club.
Yeah, I think he's an important addition because of his playmaking and his ability to sort of help us break teams down. Hopefully we cover for him as we've had to do in the past. I get worried and will continue to be worried as we face teams that are more content to sit back and are adept at counterattacking. If we have, a Gross, Milner, Dunk trio on the pitch together, because it's just easy to get caught up. And Van Hecke is not slow, but he doesn't have amazing closing speed. Really, the only defender we have that's a regular that does is Kadioglu right now, and he's often very, very advanced. So you're asking a lot for him to make that recovery. So, yes, I'm not speaking ill of Gross. His return is the most universally positive thing that's happened to Brighton social media since us qualifying for Europe. So for that alone, it's a win and a win and a win. And I do think it was a shot in the arm for the crowd. I do think it helped our result against Burnley because I think, the nervous energy that would have been present instead was channeled into rabid enthusiasm for the return of Pascal Gross. So, yeah. But he is a leader on the pitch. He does have an incredibly high IQ. I think the thought that he's slower really doesn't matter, right? Like a player he's not a player that's going to be relied on for his pace, and he never was. The quickness of his mind, as you pointed out, I think is a wise point to make. I don't think he's slower demonstrably than he was when he left us. I'll say that. So I think we're getting the same player back. But honestly, there's something to be said for having had someone leave and go find that the grass isn't any greener back in Germany. And it seems like he chose to come back to us specifically. And that to me is a great value when you've got a club where many people within the club are looking elsewhere for something better. He might be a nice reminder to some of these guys that, like, look, you may go there and find you're not going to get as much time as you do here. You're not going to be as important a player as you're going to be here. Take your time, Carlos Baleba. Take your time, John Paul Van Hecke, because that next step might come with a bigger payday, but it might set your career back. Because that has been true for some of our guys. Many of our guys have gone on to great successes immediately. Some have taken longer to find that success. So anyway, big picture, really, really pleased about Pascal Gross. I think it's beyond the pitch. It's fun.
Yeah, and you're so right about that nervous energy just evaporating. Normally, like against Burnley, we haven't had a great record against them in the Premier League, especially at home. So I would have normally been nervous, but I was as excited to get to my seat as I was in that first European game against Athens, just to see him back on that pitch, warming up with the squad. Obviously, it wasn't guaranteed that he was going to get any time on the pitch, but I think the game sort of went in the way that we were able to introduce him without much risk. But then with Pascal Gross, you don't need to take risks, do you, Ian? He's just such a model professional. And that game, I think, looking at that as a whole, I thought it was a really professional performance against Burnley. We did what we had to do. Obviously, they had their moments, but I think any team, except for whoever's at the bottom of the table, even then, are going to have their moments. It's the Premier League. It's a tough league. But we did what we had to do, didn't we?
Yeah. Excuse me. It's always a tough one. Like Burnley's always been a bit of a bogey side for us for whatever reason. Maybe claret and blue opponents don't seem to be our friend, especially. But no, in all seriousness, it was. I think Pascal returning definitely probably made a bit more of a better atmosphere than what we would have potentially had if we hadn't returned. It's no sort of Manchester derby or whatever. Like, it's not going to set the world alight in terms of games you want to watch. But again, we, as you said, we had a very solid performance there. But, Bart didn't have to do too much. When he did, he was calm enough. And sometimes when an opponent doesn't really have many shots, it's actually harder for a goalie because he kind of has to stay so sharp, but for a long duration of time doing nothing. So yeah, and then obviously Babis got a lovely goal which was disallowed. and obviously gutting because it was his first start, so it'd been and his celebration was really touching about like Zimas and stuff like that. So when I got disallowed, I was like, "Oh, it's going to be one of these days, isn't it? We're going to get a goal. It's going to be disallowed. We're going to dominate the game, and then like 90+ second, we're going to have someone like completely random score a goal, and we're going to go home with nothing." But we didn't, and Georgie uses tenacity that we know he has, and sort of kept the ball going, and accidentally or not, Babis with a lovely touch into Georgie to sort of stop the ball bobbling. It was a lovely goal, and then to get the second one from Miyari, which was well taken. He found his shooting boots. We can sort of then sit back and go, right, we're 2-0 up, let's just protect the lead, and that was the perfect time then for Pascal to just sort of come on and just, instead of having this horrible young mentality of let's go and get a third one or whatever, he was like there just being like, we don't need to, we've got the cushion now, let's just relax, let's just get home and get these 3 points wrapped up and get this mentality shifting again. So it was a good performance.
Yeah, exactly. And something I don't think many people are highlighting nearly enough, because it has been a struggle for Brighton in previous seasons, is, Andrew, we have got 7 points from 9 from the promoted 3 at home. I think, as I say, it's a barrier that we needed to shift past to start getting points from these teams at home, and we've done it. So I think Fabian and the team deserve a lot of credit there. Do you think?
Yeah, I think what they're doing, like I've always said, Fabian knows exactly what he's doing. It's just, you've got to allow him to do it. You've got to back him all the way. Sometimes when you hear what he says, sometimes can also be on repeat, but he does it in a way that only he knows what he's talking about. And it's kind of, you have to be able to beat the lower teams in the league to actually get points out of it. We've always had a problem with Burnley, and yeah, it's just quite nice to be able for them to come to the Amex. To be honest, we actually outplayed them. I think we did incredibly well. I was in a wonderful position to watch what was going on with both benches, and it was quite incredible to be where I was, and to be able to see how he's managing the game, and how kind of the mindset of Fabian and the way he deals with the setbacks and poor challenges is because you don't see that all the time. You just see a frustrated manager, but he does when he turns his back away from the supporters that are behind him. You can see a completely different Fabian sometimes, and it was quite nice to see that all the subs were discussing the game as it was being played, and it was really really nice. So
yeah, there's a lot of things that supporters don't realise, and supporters take for granted, and supporters don't. We're never gonna. Some of us might, but we're never going to have that opportunity to be within a Premier League setup on a bench within a management team. There must be so much going on that you've got to be working out the team shape, the different substitutes that are going to come on and change the way that the opposition are playing. It's an incredibly tough job. To be the age that Fabian is, and to have been under the pressure that he was probably under last season to bring through to now. He's done an incredible job to be where we are, and to keep propelling us forward, because I think we are slowly getting there. And yeah, it's frustrating when things aren't going our way, but yeah, I've got full faith that he's going to grow with this football club. I didn't have full faith last season. I won't lie, but he's given me more reasons than not to fully back him, and I think everyone should be doing the same thing. Dagan, let's talk about the difference maker in Karu MITOMA. How good is it to have him back flying down that left hand side?
It's phenomenal to have him back. It's not phenomenal to hear me clickety clacking away. My apologies for not being muted as I was typing messages there. But no, Matoma is a 1 of 1, man. The goal, the recent goal, it was 1-on-6, tucks it neatly between Nico's legs in the corner with not a ton of pace on it, really. Just accurate pinpoint placement. Yeah, he can hurt you in so many ways. And speaking of a quick and clever mind, he is another that's in the possession of such thing, and it's a beauty to watch. Really, really happy he's back in the team. It's hurting us that we can't seem to get both Matoma and Minta together, because I think that's when we'll see us at our best, is when we offer that kind of threat down both flanks, because so often we're one-dimensional. I see Ian nodding. What do you say, Ian?
It was just as you said that there. I sort of said like that was going through my head. I was like, I just can't wait until we actually can get them both. And I think we had it briefly, literally momentarily. I think it was against Sunderland. I think it was, and I was like, I just hope we can get like 20 minutes, like where we just because that way I was like we can stretch that defense so much more. Any defense in the league, because they'll try and double up on Minte, but then that leaves Mitoma free. They'll double up on Mitoma, it leaves Minte free. And neither of them are one that you can sort of leave 1-on-1, because they will make their fullbacks' life very difficult for very different reasons. So, yeah, exactly what you said. I just can't wait to actually have them back together.
Yeah, and the freedom it gives Minter as well. That little bit more time to have that clinical edge that has been missing over the last few months. So yeah, hopefully he can get over this small issue, whatever the heck a small issue is, which is keeping him out for a long time, and getting back into the side. So we've got our double M's flying down the wings for us.
Eminem, yeah.
Eminem, Minter and Matoma, the new Duncan Duffy. Not quite the same size though. I mean, let's move on then, Andrew, to the draw against City. I won't lie to you, I was fearful going into this one. City haven't been as good as they have been, but still obviously got the players that can really hurt you. And of course the Erling Haaland threat, which we seem to have nullified with a very boisterous Jan-Paul Van Hecke. What did you make of the game last Wednesday?
I was very excited for it. I honestly thought to myself, can we really do something? You know, can we really win this game? Do we have it in us? Of course we have it in us. And I think as soon as that game kicks off and the way we were playing, you know, we were really good, to be honest. You know, our defense was just incredible. You know, you got Van Heck, you know, putting himself in the way of everything. You've got it's just the way we were handling Haaland. You know, there were moments in that game that City could have, you know, City could have quite easily been, you know, 3 goals to the good. But we dealt with the pressure really well. Yes, it was, you know, when I first saw, you know, the tackle that ended up being a penalty, when I first saw that, I thought, is that really a penalty? Was there enough in it? But then when you look back on it, yes, because he's, you know, both knees have come together, he's blocked him and stuff. So it's going to be given, you know, one way or the other. So, okay, Haaland scores. Fair enough, it's a penalty. The only thing that Haaland didn't actually do was score from open play, because we prevented him from doing that. And of course, you know, there was lots and lots of things that happened in that game. You know, Ayari, you know, bless him. He, after substitution, he was in tears afterwards, because he knew that he had made a catalogue of errors in that game, which could have cost us. And, you know, and then, you know, Mitoma comes up with the equaliser. You know, when you watch it on TV, there doesn't seem to be a great deal of power in it. It's more, you know, he's pace, he's putting it, he's pace, he's you know, there's a lot of there's pace in it, but there's kind of he knows where he wants to put it. And when
Yeah.
you've got two defenders in the way, you know, he's curled that between their legs way out the reach of the keeper. And it doesn't matter what the keeper's doing, the keeper can't get to it. So quality from him is just unbelievable. And I just hope that now he's back to full fitness, we will see the MITOMA that we've been watching for some time. And if Minter comes back as well, they're going to be a force to be reckoned with because they're so good together. So,
and with Pascal Gross feeding them as well, the stars
absolutely.
are aligning, the dreams are coming true, the band is back together. Dagan, we dealt with Erling Haaland, as I said, with a very boisterous Jean-Paul Van Hecke that is turning into one of the greatest duels between players in the Premier League. It's for me getting up there with Vieira versus Keane. This is feisty.
Wow,
what is going on between those two?
They don't like each other. And I think it started from Van Hecke's very first appearance for us against him, and he just sort of, I felt like, took it upon himself to show I'm every bit man enough and equal to this task. And every time out, he comes out of the gate, I'm going to be more physical. I'm going to wrestle with this guy. I'm just going to make it a hard day. And more often than not against us, Haaland has gotten his one goal, whether it's a penalty or whatever, he'll get his one goal. But I feel like he takes him out of his game and he's spending a lot of energy, laughing and trying to appear to be unbothered and shrugging things off. But he's trying extra hard, which just naturally you burn more energy. And I think Van Hecke is I think he feels like if I'm out of my head a little bit, I'm used to it because he always runs a little hot. Haaland is usually pretty chill. He does get ruffled though, and I think that's a little bit of a tell. And I think Van Hecke feels like he can get Haaland off his game and have him make his focal point Van Hecke and not the game itself. And when you can reduce, one of the best players in the world to being focused on you and not on everything else in the game, that's a win. And so he's been a great neutralizer. But I really, I think it is mostly gamesmanship more than genuine hatred. But there's no love lost. I don't think Haaland likes him especially. For Van Hecke, I think it really is as much. I want to win the game, and I think I can throw this guy off his. He's studied the man to his right, the dark arts under Veltman. Van Hecke, I think, is a proprietor of those two.
Yeah,
Perfect.
exactly that. And there was another moment as well of a young Jack Hinshelwood walking up behind a Bernardo Silva to sort of scuff the turf behind him as if he was about to kick him, and then he went off.
He was intense. It was great.
Yeah, it's like, it's all right. It was just flattening the turf, mate. Calm down, relax. I mean, it was an incredible game, and we started the game really, really well. I think as much as City could have scored 3 or 4 goals, I think we could have scored 3 or 4 goals. So do you think a draw was maybe a fair result in the end?
I think over maybe the course of the 90 minutes or so, yes. I think it definitely had the potential to be like one team gets like the extra goal in a sneaky way. It's always been a little bit like that with us in City, especially under Fabian's reign. There always seems to be like, just because one team's ahead doesn't guarantee them the sort of guaranteed win. Not to mention, we kind of briefly washed over it, but Fabian's still unbeaten against Pep, which is a really, really tricky thing to do, especially now that it's been 4 appearances. It's not easy to do that. But, we had some really good chances at the very start, and then for whatever reason, we sort of settled more of a defensive style, let City kind of get pressure, and then that penalty came along, and it was like, as Andrew sort of said, is it a pen? Is it not a pen? It's like, you can see it's definitely being given. I don't want to see that. It's 2026. I don't want to see that.
No.
No, but it's a tricky one, that sort of penalty shout. But then we also had chances when we were at 1-1 to go and win it. Most noticeably, probably Gomez's absolute sitter, and how he missed it, I don't know. I really cannot try and justify it. I'm quite a positive guy. Normally, I try and go, oh, maybe it was just like, he was unexpecting it or whatever. But his run was fantastic. So he clearly wanted the ball. So how he didn't score, I don't know. But we won't get onto him too much. But
yeah,
it was one of those ones, and I always love playing City, even watching City. Like, there's always some sort of X factor with them. So the fact that we've managed to sort of come away with another point on a midweek game and a long travel and stuff, and fair play to the fans who did go up. You were heard on the telly. If any of you are somehow watching, you weren't actually here. No, it was really, really good. So I think a point is fair, but I think if either side got 3, then I don't think there would have been many complaints from opposition's fans.
Yeah, I will mention one of our very own, Chloe, was there, made that long travel up. So fair play to you, Chloe. Always following the Albion up and down the country. It's incredible thing to do. And Andrew, you also try to get to as many away games as you can as well. So it's always such a commitment, isn't it? But it's all worth it in the end. And we go back up to Manchester tomorrow. So maybe some of those fans might have even stayed there. Rodder's just saying 1,100 fans made the trip on a Wednesday evening. It's incredible stuff. So yeah, well done. And Grant says Haaland likes bullying players with his strength, but does not like it when players stand up to him, which Jean-Paul Van Hecke does.
It's a good point. It's as much of a physical battle as it is a mental battle with those two. And I just sort of, I think it was Dagan, I think you touched on it, like he's always sort of laughing or whatever and trying to, but that's using mental like gymnastics. And then he's taking his mind out of where do I need to be, what do I need to do. So as we say, it's a box office fixture. Brighton City's a good game, and so is Haaland Van Hecke. So.
Yeah, exactly that. As I say, we travelled to. Sorry, Dagan, go on. You look like you're burning.
I don't know who pointed out first. It was Rodgers enjoying Fabian still being unbeaten against Pep, and he's the first manager ever anywhere to face Pep 4 times and not lose.
Yeah, but Dagan, he is incompetent though.
Many would argue yes, but in this one instance, no. For whatever reason, perhaps he is like JP to Haaland, and Pep brings out the best in our young manager. And in some degrees, I think there is some of that. He does tend to really show up against some of the top managers. I will say, I think it's because often the best managers, they have so much talent, they're a little more predictable. And so for a manager that is tactically adept and adjusts his game plan, they can get better results because they're planning specific to the opponent rather than just, well, we're going to go play our game, guys. And our fans, I think, get frustrated sometimes when we don't play our game the whole game and sort of pick our spots and sit back or a little more cautious. But that, to me, that's why the results, though some have been frustrating, on the whole have turned out pretty great relative to Brighton Hove Albion history. It's because of the style of this manager and the way he chooses to manage more pragmatically than De Zerbi. You're not going to see as many exciting, 5-0 wins or 5-0 losses probably. I know we had that one game against Forest where we got battered, but that was with Jackson for what is our lone midfielder. And that wasn't a strategic choice. That was, we're out of midfielders. We're just going to try something. And it went really badly.
Yeah. Can we not go one podcast without mentioning the 7-0 loss?
I'm just not hiding from it in my defense. I am not hiding from it. because we've done quite well against Forest since then, for the most part. And so, this is a manager capable of learning. I'm excited for the rest of the season. It is a logjam. Maybe we'll talk about that at the end. But yeah,
We will.
Manchester United awaits.
Yeah. I did want to very, very quickly mention a player who I think has been absolutely incredible this season, and 2 unbelievable performances in the last 2 games, 2 goal line clearances as well. Ferdy, Caddy, Bloody Oglu. What a player. If we can keep him fully fit, I think he's going to be the answer and the key to what is going to be a successful season, hopefully, as we go into the second half. After we play, as you say, Dagan, Manchester United away in the FA Cup tomorrow. Andrew, you didn't fancy spending the 50 odd quid that they were charging for a ticket. But what are you feeling ahead of this one? Are you sort of quietly confident, or are you a bit worried after they beat us 4-2 in the Premier League?
I'll tell you something, charging those prices, Man United must be seriously desperate for money up there, I tell you. That's just,
New managers cost a lot of money.
Yeah, I know. If that was back down at the Amex, they wouldn't be charging that to get into the stadium, that's for sure. But, I think it's, he puts out the right team. I think we're going to give United a right old battle. And I hope that, he goes almost fully strength rather than under strength, because, even though United aren't at the best, they can still cause us a lot of problems. And let's just hope that we can get the better of United and the goals that we've missed in recent games. Hopefully we can capitalise and put those in the back of the net and get through to the 4th round. But unfortunately this time round, due to the timing of this game, it would have meant if I had travelled up there, I wouldn't have been home until 3 o'clock in the morning. And that just wasn't going to happen because I got.
You're a massive plastic. You're a plastic.
Honestly, because I got work the next day and I'm not. I need my sleep.
No,
so
it's not good enough, mate. Get yourself up to Manchester tomorrow and spend that money.
I think if the tickets had been a little bit cheaper, I might have pushed it. But not this time.
Fair enough. Ian, what are you feeling, mate? Are you nervously positive or are you nervously negative?
I love when we play Man United. I don't know if it's because we tend to have a good record. There's a keyword there. But yeah, it's great. I mean, to do or die game as well. Our annual FA Cup fixture against Man United is back again. So yeah, I'm excited that hopefully we can actually, for once, finally beat them in the FA Cup. If anything, it's either the best or worst time to play them because they're under the sort of Darren Fletcher, and there's a whole saga in a minute with who's going to appoint them and what formation will they play, blah blah blah. Whereas at least we have a little bit more of an understanding of what we can do. But then on the negative, we don't have any idea what they're going to do. But I'm always confident. Obviously, Gross coming back and MITOMA's sort of fully fit now. So with Welbeck being rested quite a lot as well, I'm expecting him maybe to start tomorrow. I have not got a crystal ball beside me, but it would be nice to see him starting. I think we can definitely beat them. Don't clip it and turns out we lose like 12-0 tomorrow. But I definitely think we can beat them. And it's just whether the sort of long travel back to back and all that is going to play into it, because that's a factor of it.
Well, maybe we might do an Antoine Semenyo and fly to Manchester.
Yes, British Airways and all that. Yeah.
Oh man. I mean, as you say, with Pascal returning, he loves the goal against United, and I think we've played them maybe now 4 times in the FA Cup within the last 6 seasons. I remember one very snowy afternoon at Old Trafford where it was a crazy game, and I think it was a Romelu Lukaku goal that sealed it for them eventually. And it would be nice to avenge that heartbreak at Wembley. So Dagan, are you feeling confident that we can go there and not cause an upset, but stop them from causing an upset?
I am optimistic. They're missing a trio of their key players, as we are missing one of ours. Obviously, we're missing others due to injury, but they are as well. Bruno has come back. It'll be interesting to see if he features, given that he's just returned from injury and did play midweek. He's such an important creator for them that I think that could have a big impact on the game. He certainly is a gamer and wants to play. I'm most curious whether we'll see the Coppola-Biscagli center back pairing for this match. That's been our cup lineup, it has seemed, and those guys are both hungry for time and haven't been getting a ton of it. So I just wonder, will we go full strength, or will we give these guys an opportunity? Knowing the importance, and I know we have a nice rest from Sunday to Monday, the following Monday, but knowing the importance of the games ahead, do we try to give some guys some minutes, or are we going all in, trying to win the cup? We're still pretty early stages, so it makes me think we might give guys the minutes that we would have given whether we were playing Man United or a club perhaps in the National League North.
Crystal Palace Football Club. Ah, that was such a passive-aggressive dig, and I love it. I love that from you. Yeah, I mean, it's going to be really interesting. Yeah, exactly. It's the yellow shirt. That's what's doing it. It's the yellow shirt from the past that's given him, past Brighton Palace.
I'm surprised how much I like the shirt. It is pretty great.
It's a good shirt. When that shirt came out, I was really excited to get it. I got it for my birthday, I believe, that year, and I got Andrew Crofts on the back of mine. So there you go.
Ooh, what a player!
Crofty, what a man, and still obviously at the club.
Best dance moves in Sussex.
Speaking of shirts, I hope this isn't sacrilege, but I got a first.
There you go.
I had to do it.
Absolutely.
Right back turned manager, 2-time manager of Hearts. But 2 is Kennedy's number, as you guys will recall. So yeah, it was a perfect one that I managed to find. It's hard to find shirts these days because they've got to be located in the States because our import fees are outrageous because of the tariffs right now. So
welcome to Politics Obsessed.
No. Yeah. I will say, speaking of prices and hearing you guys talk about £50, the average cost of a ticket at American Pro Sports and NFL is around $300. NBA is like $160. NHL is, I think, just under $150. Major League Baseball, they have 81 home games a season. Is the cheapest of major professional sports, and the average ticket there is $79. So just to give you a sense, I'm not saying what you guys have should cost, more. I'm just saying it. When I hear what you describe, I'm like, $50 sounds amazing. I would kill to go to a pro sport with a decent seat for $50. That'd be amazing.
The train prices as well, isn't it? That's as well the problem. It's like it's £50 to get up to the Old Trafford, not to mention potentially accommodation if you want to try that rather than getting down at like 3-4 in the morning, and then you spend like £200 to get up there just via a train these days. So
don't mention a 3-hour car journey to Dagan. That's his go to the shops.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I do spend probably.
All I will say is, damn America, you scary. Stop being
fair,
American.
Fair. No, Jerry. Yeah. I think it's awesome that that's a place where price controls have remained somewhat of a constant in English football. It makes me like the sport even more, knowing that it's, at least at its heart, meant to be something that's accessible to all of its fans. That for me is really
So what you're saying, Dagan, is the petition to get you over to England to stay here to come to every single Brighton game needs to be actioned.
I would if I could. I would absolutely, yeah. I would follow them up and down the country.
100%.
Pretty soon, Joe, you're gonna be just walking to all the away games. That's gonna be your new deal.
I mean, I don't like to brag. I've lost 2 stone. I'm
Hey!
getting more active. I'm playing football
Love it.
more. So
Love it.
come on, make my ego bigger, please.
Love it, Joe. Love it, Joe.
Yeah. No, I'm feeling good.
Very good, man.
It's
Very good.
new year, new me. No. Oh, why have I said that live on the bloody podcast? Anyway, football. Let's talk about football. Andrew, score prediction, please.
Yes.
Oof.
Oh, that's a tricky one, isn't it? I'm gonna go for a win, and I'm gonna do it within the 90 minutes or so, with the added time on there. I'm gonna go 3-0 actually, and I think that I think Gross is going to get one, and he's going to be an absolute shiner. I think if Minter plays, if MITOMA play, out of any of the other players, it could be any of them. But I just think for this,
Bart Verbruggen?
yeah, well, you never know. He could, he could come up the other end and get a last minute header. But you never know. But we haven't seen that yet, have we? Crikey. He's too busy.
I love that positivity, Andrew.
Absolutely.
Very much would hope for a 3-0 win.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Ian, what are you feeling, mate? Are you as positive as Andrew?
Not quite. Whatever Andrew's having, I will have a glass. But I'm going to say 2-1 to us. I think we definitely have the potential. We have the confidence. I think Man United will score, but I think it'll be a consolation. So I think we're going to go 2, and then they're going to try and get one back, and that's going to be like, nope, bye-bye.
It's going to send our panic into losing a 2-goal lead again, isn't it?
Yeah, we're going to say mentality shift. Now Gross is back. We're not going to do that anymore. So I'm going to say Babis for a goal.
Ooh.
And I'm going to say a defender goal. Somewhere from the back, but yeah. I'd love to see Ferdy get one just from his performances.
Would love a Ferdy Kadioglu goal.
So Ferdy,
Dagan,
listen, take your Weetabix and score a goal.
Exactly. He does listen to this podcast.
Yeah, no, he told me last night actually. Yeah,
good stuff. Dagan, are you feeling positive? Dagan's always positive.
I'm always positive. My first thought matches the thought in the chat was 3-2, but then as I was thinking about, I won't copy Phil and Rodders, who both predicted 3-2. I'm going to say 3-1 or 1-3 to the Albion.
Ooh.
I do think I agree with them. I think they're goals in this game, and I think we're starting to click. And I'll say to Ian's prediction, if he starts, it'll be a Coppola.
Ooh, very nice.
Goal.
I would take that and I would run with it. I'm going to be the negative Nelly. I'm very sorry, everybody. But bear with me. 2-2 after extra time. We're going to win on penalties.
We are.
Yeah, we're going to win on penalties. And Solly March is going to make a miraculous recovery.
Get out. Podcast is canceled. This podcast is officially over.
But yeah,
last penalty hasn't landed yet. All right,
please do not mention Man United and penalties.
I think it's going all the way to penalties, and I think we'll win on penalties.
I don't think I can take it.
Neither could I, Dagan. I would be. My head would be on Mars, but when isn't it with Brighton? So
too much.
We might as well go the whole way. But I hope that everybody that's been very positive is right. I just felt like I had to balance things out by being a negative Nelly. But I did say a win.
I would take it.
Any win and we'll take, let's be honest.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Even if it requires Fabian Hertzler to come on and score himself.
Yeah.
I would say I hope we come out of it healthy. That
Yeah.
True.
that's the big piece. Obviously, want to win a trophy, but man, yeah, it's a tougher path than I think the regular season placement is for Europe this year. There will be years where I think that the inverse might be true, that our best bet is to go all in on the cup. But this year, I really do feel like league placement is there for the taking, given the number of teams still in Europe and look likely to continue to be in Europe. I just think there are going to be wins to be had. Yeah, but a lot will be decided in the next month or two.
Exactly that. There's a lot of Premier League games coming our way as well after the FA Cup. We will try and be back with you as regularly as we can be. I'm going to whip all of these people's butts to get onto the podcast, and we're going to come at you with the reaction of the United game, and we'll preview our game against Bournemouth in due course. We have come up to the hour mark now, so I think we will draw to a close. But do not forget to like, share, and subscribe for more Albion Obsessed content coming your way very soon. We do have a special video coming out soon. Me and Tom sat down in person. He's not dead, everybody. He's still alive. And we watched We're On Our Way, the documentary, and we reacted to it. And it was really, really nice to sort of go back over that amazing season. That will live in our memories forever. So, yeah, thank you all for joining us. Thank you to Andrew, Ian, and Dagan for all of their wonderful views. And wherever you may be, whenever you may be, we will see you next time. Take care.